Hello again, dreamer. Welcome back to Soft Thoughts. If you're here tonight, I'd like to ask you something. When was the last time you looked at the night sky? Not to check the weather, not to take a photo, but simply because you wondered. As children, we asked questions without worrying whether we sounded silly. We found joy in not knowing. But somewhere along the way, many of us began believing that growing up meant having all the answers. So tonight, let's sit with that together. What if wonder begins when certainty ends? When we were young, the world felt enormous. A puddle could become an ocean. A cardboard box could become a castle. A handful of stars could keep us staring for hours. Nothing had to be explained before it could be beautiful. But as we grew older, something quietly changed. We became more interested in answers than questions. We learned to measure, to define, to understand. And those things are valuable. But perhaps, without meaning to, we also stopped leaving room for mystery. Maybe that's why life can begin to feel smaller. Not because the world has lost its beauty, but because we've become so focused on understanding it that we sometimes forget to experience it. The sunrise is still breathtaking. The rain still has its own music. The ocean still reminds us how small and how connected we are. None of that disappears when we learn how these things work. If anything, understanding can deepen our sense of wonder. Because the more we discover about the universe, the more we realize how much remains unknown. And perhaps that's true of people too. We'll never completely understand another heart, or why certain moments stay with us for years, or why a single song can carry us back to a place we thought we'd forgotten. Maybe life was never asking us to have every answer. Maybe it was inviting us to stay curious, to keep asking, to keep noticing, to let some mysteries remain beautiful simply because they're mysteries. Perhaps growing older doesn't have to mean wondering less. Perhaps it means learning to wonder more gently. So tonight, you don't have to solve every mystery. You don't have to understand everything you feel. Some questions aren't empty because they lack answers. They're beautiful because they keep our hearts open. Sleep well, dreamer. Maybe wonder begins the moment you stop needing every answer.